Hello, welcome to an overview of Lesson 4, which really gets into the basics of reporting, how that goes about. I apologize for all the glitches we've been having with getting things working right on my page. That's my fault. I'm new to this. I'm not remembering what all the boxes I need to click. But hopefully I see your emails. I go in and I see exactly what I've done wrong, and it doesn't take very long. So just keep letting me know if there's something. I went back and checked on things coming up to make sure they work. So hopefully it'll all work out. And don't worry, the deadlines are not in concrete. If it was something on my end, you'll have as much time as you need to get everything done, and everybody will get their grades and their points. So, what is the reporting all about? Well, there's a few things there for you to do this week. Some PowerPoints to look at. We're going to cover two chapters, chapters 5 and 6, or no, 4 and 5, I guess it is. One is on reporting basics, and the other one is covering beats. So read both of those chapters or view the PowerPoints. They'll go through a lot of things with you, where stories come from, how to use sources, and really sources are the key to your stories. Your stories can only be as good as your sources because you can't make things up. You can't draw on pieces of information that are not factual. That's why I try to steer away from using Wikipedia because it's not really vetted that well to be a reliable source. And that's what people want. They want sources that they can identify with or people that they know. Unidentified sources and stories just kind of ruin the credibility of source of your story because people want to know who that source is. And if you don't tell them, then they wonder if maybe you made it up or if it's not a reliable source or you don't have any faith in it. That's why you don't name it. So if you do use an unnamed source, you really need to say why it's not named. That it fears reprisals, or maybe he loses his job, or you have to give a really good reason for it. So be very wary of using unnamed sources. Some of the bigger media do that, and they do it willy-nilly, and it almost becomes routine. And I think people lose faith in their ability in what they're doing as a reporting organization. There's a math section in the one PowerPoint. Don't even bother with that. We're not in here to learn math. We're in here to learn about reporting. There's some stuff about taking notes. There's a PowerPoint that's mine. It's about interviewing tips. You can look through that. It's just some tips on the approach to interviewing and how I go about it when I interview people for stories. I would just go look through it and just see if there's anything you can glean from that. There are two assignments. One is to talk about a news story idea and a couple of sources you might think of. So, for instance, you say, I want to do a story about the parking issues at OTC. Well, think about who you might want to talk to about that kind of story. I guess you always want to talk to the person it affects most, and that would be students. And probably you want to talk to someone who's in charge of the parking situation at OTC, and you need to find out who that is to list it as a source. You just can't say the person in charge of parking. I want you to find out who that is. Or for any other story, I just want to make sure you know how to retain sources for your stories. You don't have to write anything. You don't have to contact anybody. But just tell me who you would use for sources, human sources. I'm not interested in, you could Google it on Google and find out who the sources might be. But I don't want you to cite me document sources. I want human sources. The other one is a little exercise I want you to try either walking around campus or walking to work or in your car or riding a bike. Just tell me about what's around you. I want you to observe things. And I think I say here that what the weather's like. Are there birds chirping? Squirrels playing around? How green was the grass? How did the air feel? I want you to just describe the moment that you're in. It doesn't have to be very long, about 100 words. Just describe the moment you're in and what you see around you. So if you could just kind of be on a revolving disc and turn around 360 degrees, what did you all see there?
I want you to get in the mood to be better observers of your surroundings, and that will help translate into a short little. Doesn't even have to be a story. You can just say, as I walked along, or as I drove, or as I rode, the air was clean, the air was cool. There were clouds in the sky. All of those, the more you can get as far as information, observing information, the better. And just put it in that material and submit that. And then there is a quiz this week, an AP style book quiz that's there for you to take. Don't panic. You can use your style book. You can open it up, find the answers. One of the things I'm trying to teach you about this business is that we don't guess. We look things up. So we always look up how words are spelled. We look up how style is done. So make sure you go ahead and use your style book and answer those questions. You should be able to find them if you just think about the topic that they're discussing there. You'll be able to find them. And if you struggle with it a little bit, that's okay. It's not a big point test. One last thing, Drury University on Monday, September the 12th, is hosting a forum that includes Carl Bernstein, formerly from the Washington Post, and P.G. O'Rourke, who is a political writer, national political writer. Carl Bernstein, of course, was one of two reporters who broke the Watergate scandal, and they will both be speaking at Drury on Monday at 7 p.m. at Clara Thompson Hall. You're welcome to go to that. I can't really offer extra credit online because all of you don't live in Springfield, and it would be unfair to those who don't live here. But it would be worth it for you to go and just listen to these guys talk about what this business is like and what's going on in the media today. It'd be very good. I went a little long. Hope I didn't bore you to death, but keep plugging away. We're doing real well. We're coming up on midterm here in a little bit, and I hope you had a good Labor Day holiday, and we will be back. As always, email me if there's an issue with the board, or you have a question, or I'm finally getting around to remember the answer to ask the class thing. I was derelict in that. That was my fault. But we will talk to you later, and thanks so much for listening.